Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
So if I remember the numbers, something like 8.47 lakhs was 2019, 9.41 was 2020, and this year at the end of January with 70% placed, we were about 11 lakhs. So COVID has not affected us negatively in terms of placement.
We are living in a time when the world around us is fast changing. And to keep up with the fast changing world, the academic dynamics are also changing rapidly. Today, to talk more about the world of MBA and the significant changes that students should keep in mind before roping themselves for any B school, we have the Dean of IFMR Graduate School of Business, Kriya University, Shobha Das with us. Professor Das has taught in global universities like Nanyang Technological University and has been spearheading the ship of IFMR for over a year now. I welcome you, Professor Das, and it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
All right, Professor, we have seen a vast transformation in the world of B school, in the world of MBA, and the kind of business education that is being imparted, not only nationally but globally. How do you think the academic pedagogy and the culture at IFMR has evolved with this evolving change that we have seen?
We do three things, and this is very recent that we have started doing. One is we offer workshops to students in terms of the latest things that they should be knowing. So these are things like data science perspectives, introduction to R, managerial skills, and the legal aspects of business. These are things that industry has told us that they're very interested in our students having. So we offer these workshops to all our students. They are free to take it and build their skills. The second thing that we do is we offer really future-focused two specializations. These are really not there in any B school that I know of. One is quantitative finance and the other is data science. These are sort of the hot things in the market with a long future. They are not fads. They're going to be around. And the third thing we have done is we have a contract with the leading B school in the world, the Harvard Business School, so that we can use their cases and articles for teaching in the classroom. And because of these efforts that the IFMR GSB has done, our students are ready to join organizations and start contributing from day one.
Right. Professor Das, you mentioned about three very crucial facts, which is very essential to, create future leaders. What kind of value addition you think these things that you just mentioned does to the students of Kriya University? What makes it, different than maybe say other B schools that are there who are using certain pedagogies and methodologies?
So let me just start with a small history of ours. We are actually a 50-year-old institution. There are probably only two other B schools in India that can make this claim. We have been around a long time. In 2017, we became part of the new and dynamic Kriya University. We have very consciously developed 4 interdisciplinary courses that form the core program, and all our students go through it. The first one is ethics, where faculty from different disciplines come together so that students can explore ethics in a holistic manner in an organization, not take a silo approach. The second course we offer is communications. This is not just written and oral communication. It's not just in-person and online communications. It's communications about products and services in the marketplace. But I think very uniquely, it's also communications about you. We need to know how to present ourselves in the best possible way, truthfully, but also very elegantly. So communications course is about that. The third course we offer is design thinking, which is about designing products with user front and center, also about catering to the current and future needs of these users, and also creating value in society. And the final course that has come about since we joined Kriya and the interdisciplinary focus is the capstone simulation that we run. This is the software that is used by leading business schools in India and abroad. And here students have a chance to be part of a top management team, run a virtual company for many years, and they actually make a whole series of decisions. This leads them to apply everything they have learned in the classroom to a virtual company and see the entire organization from start to finish.
Right. Professor Das, I feel another important element for any university or any institute to be successful is the kind of faculty that it has. What are the kind of faculty members? What is the kind of mix that you have in terms of the faculty members and the kind of experiences that they have in their shoulder, and what is the kind of experience that they come up with, so that the classes that are held are more dynamic in nature?
First, we have faculty who are trained from many different schools, really leading Indian schools, leading international schools. We also have faculty who bring rich industry experience. So they have actually worked as managers. And so they are talking the industry language. They still have networks with the industry. So it's a good combination of pure academics, deep industry experience, and some who bring both. We also have experts who join us in particular topics because they may have deep expertise that we don't. So we have visiting faculty who join us in offering the courses. But I think the one thing I do want to highlight about our faculty, we are academics who do research. And the reason why I emphasize that is by doing research, we can bring to the class things and practices and frameworks that work. But beyond that, the faculty have a good sense of when each pedagogical tool is relevant. So case studies are used when there is a very deep insight one requires into a dilemma faced by a company and how that can be solved. But suppose you're tackling something that's really current. For example, what happened with GameStop. That there is no case study about it yet. So the faculty in the classroom would have a format of maybe a debate or a role play where the students undergo the issue being faced right now, and they debate the different solutions because nobody knows a real solution that's possible, but they bring their knowledge of theory to bear to solve this real problem that happened in the world like yesterday. So the faculty are very savvy in terms of bringing content and teaching methods that are useful for students.
Right, Professor Das, you mentioned very well about the kind of structure that is followed there. Any kind of special kind of stories or any kind of interactions that you have had with your students that you can think of that has stood out for you over the years?
Let me just talk to you about the first person whom we are all talking about because he has recently appeared in media as well. This is a gentleman called Nishant Chandran, and he began as an IT expert, came to IFMR and continued in the IT career focus. And this is very true for most students. In the beginning, they do what they're trained for. And then they sort of realize other things interest them and they combine it with their passion and they do new things. So Nishant Chandran is actually now the CEO and founder of a company called Tender Cuts. He realized that the food industry is not really producing healthy food. And his eyes turned to the meat industry where unhygienic practices were being followed. And he took it upon himself. And this company is actually fresh from the farm to your plate. That's their motto. They give you hygienic meat. And this is something he obviously was not trained in from IFMR. He brought it together and took it forward. And he's a very successful businessman right now who looks back at IFMR as having started him off in this business journey, but he has taken it by himself and gone full steam ahead.
And when we talk about the batch diversity, Professor Das, what is the kind of wide canvas that we are looking at when we're talking about IFMR?
In our case, diversity actually is there along 4 dimensions: geographic, academic, gender, and work experience. Geographic diversity, it is really amazing. Our students come from practically all states in India. We also have background-wise, we have students from arts, business, commerce, science, engineering. That's the spectrum of students. Engineering and science tend to be about 40%, 30 to 40% of the batch. The women candidates tend to be about 1/3 of our batch size. We are trying to have more women join because that diversity really has innumerable benefits. And the last of the diversity we have is in terms of work experience. We take students up to 3 years of work experience, and these constitute again about 1/3 of our batch. So 4 dimensions of diversity, and each one contributes to the richness of our experience.
We started this conversation saying that the technology is changing, the world is changing accordingly. What kind of technologies are business postgraduates expected to be updated with for tomorrow? And how is IFMR making sure that students who are going in there are also skilled and updated with the upcoming jobs in the industry that's going to come?
And I think today's students really need to be able to do statistical analysis, and some software like SPSS is very handy at that time. Our programming would be also great to have. Some coding experience is good because you never know when you would need to get a computer to do a particular processing that you have in mind. So Python comes in handy. And at IFMR, we provide the tools, all these three tools.
Tell me a bit about placements. Do I need to worry about placements given the time that we are living in right now, or I should be rest assured that because the markets are opening up and the kind of support that IFMR will provide me, I will be in a safe hand?
As I said before, we're a 50-year-old institution, 20 years of MBA. So we have deep experience in conducting placement. And so far, we've been fortunate in having 100% placement for anybody who wants to be placed. Some opt out because they have other options. But if a student is looking for a job, we are able to find something for them. Over the years, the CTC has been rising. And I know it's a trend that everybody wants to track carefully. So if I remember the numbers, something like 8.47 lakhs was 2019, 9.41 was 2020. And this year at the end of January with 70% placed, we were about 11 lakhs. So COVID has not affected us negatively in terms of placement. Some of the things that we're very proud of last year, none of the companies who placed our students backed off when the COVID struck. So all of them got into the companies, maybe a little staggered, but all of them got into the companies that they got jobs in from campus. Summer internships, some companies withdrew because they could not deal with the technology required. And we were able to find alternate summer internships for them. So 100% summer internships, 100% placement last year. And this year we are in a good trajectory. And I'm again optimistic for this year.
Professor Das, my last question to you would be, are these the times that we should invest in education? Are these the times where, we should think about upskilling ourselves and getting ready for the future times ahead?
This is how I welcomed my 2020 incoming batch. I told them you couldn't have picked a better time to join because the world was uncertain. They had just graduated from their undergraduate programs. Finding a job would have been tough. Investing 2 years of their time in this program gives them the breathing space to train. And 2 years down the road, the world will be in a better place and then they can embark. But also, I think more generally to answer your question, I don't think the formal degrees we have will take us through our careers. We do need to continue to invest in learning and education. And a formal course set along the way with a little bit of planning will add up so that you don't do ad hoc things. You don't just sign up for any random things on Coursera. You chart a path and then take different courses that build your sort of ongoing learning process.
All right, Professor Das, thank you very much for this conversation, and learning indeed is constant. Thank you very much once again, Professor Das, and it was a pleasure talking.
Thank you, Punangshu. It was a pleasure talking with you. Thank you.